Right, so today we're going to take a look at how to update the MC9000 or specifically the MC9090 Windows mobile device with the latest wireless Fusion driver. The Fusion driver is the Motorola or Zebra or Symbol, whichever you want to call it. It's the driver utility or the wireless utility driver for the MC9000 series and specifically the MC9090. So today we're going to take a look at how to update that driver. So here on my screen I've got the Windows Mobile Device Center launched. I've got an MC9090 inserted into my CRD 9000 single slot cradle, which is then tethered via USB to my PC, and I have the device on and connected. So we want to make sure that our device is connected, and we have a way, whether it be through Windows Mobile Device Center or through Windows Explorer, to navigate to the directories and the files on the MC9090 device. I've also got a remote display program launched and connected to my device so that I can show the screen and what I'm doing on the device. So that's here on the left-hand side of my screen. So one of the things, the reason that we're doing this is because we've noticed that on some of the non-Symbol or Zebra wireless access points, like the Cisco's or Aeronets or whatever wireless access points you're using, we've noticed that there's been some interoperability issues and some connectivity issues we've seen where devices are dropping connection and losing signal. And so this is a driver that will help alleviate those problems. And we've noticed that with most of our customers, we now pretty much install this driver on all of our customers' MC9090 devices. All of the recent MC9190s or MC92s, those all have this driver. We are up to the Fusion 3.0 driver. However, we're going to be using the Fusion 2.57 specifically for the Windows CE. This is a CE 5.0, so we're going to be using that driver just because we've had a lot of experience with it and we've never had any problems, so we're going to continue to use that. So I'm going to demonstrate that. If you wanted to install the 3.0 driver, the instruction would be identical to what you're going to see here. So anyway, so now that we've got our devices all connected up, if you're running some sort of a kiosk program, whether that be like Windows Mobile or Zebra App Center from Odyssey Software, you want to go ahead and get out of that. You want to go ahead and go into admin mode, exit out of that program, and get out to the desktop because we need to be able to see the Fusion wireless driver as well as navigate to the directories on the device. So like I said before, we're going to make sure that we've got Windows Mobile Device Center up and running. We've got the handheld connected so we can navigate to our directory. So the instructions are pretty simple. From the device, we're going to go ahead and tap on our My Device icon. We're going to either double tap or tap once and hit enter. And it's going to bring up our directory, and we want to go ahead and open up the application folder. The application folder on these devices is where everything that we want to persist through cold boot, we want to make sure we keep it in this application folder. Any registry files, any program files that we have, we want to make sure that we store them here if we want them to persist on cold boot. So basically what we're going to do is we can scroll down and take a look at all of the items that are in our application directory. Some of the things that we expect to see here are, like this WCS options, WCS profiles, registry files. These are the options and wireless profiles settings that we've exported from the Fusion driver to the handheld. If we see these files in this directory, we can be certain that our profile, our options, our regulatory, our band selection, our IP address, all of that stuff gets stored in the application folder, so on cold boot we don't lose those. So we want to make sure we look for those kinds of things. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and close that out. And we're going to go back to our Windows Mobile Device Center, and we're going to go ahead and navigate to that same directory via this program. So we're going to launch Connect, then we're going to hover over File Management, and then select Browse Contents. And then from here, we're going to open up the same directory, this application directory, and these are all the same files that we looked at and saw on the device. So if I scroll down, I'll see the WCS profiles, the WCS options. I'll also see all my other registry files in here as well. But what we want to do is we want to then go ahead and grab our Fusion driver here, and we're going to come and we're going to drag this and paste it into this application folder, making sure that we don't push it into a folder, but rather just right into the file directory of this folder. So I've already got it in here, so I'm going to copy and replace it. We're going to go ahead and let that copy. And we just have to be patient. It does take 45 seconds to a minute to copy over. All right, now this is done, we should be able to navigate through this application folder and see that Fusion driver located here. And if I refresh my screen and I scroll down, there it is, Fusion 2.57. So now I can go ahead and exit out of my Windows Explorer window here, and I can return back to the handheld. Now from the handheld, I'm going to go back and I'm going to navigate to that My Device folder. Again, single tapping and pressing Enter or double tapping, either works fine. And we're going to navigate back to the application folder. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll down beyond the folders, and we're going to find that Fusion file, the Fusion 2.57. And one trick we can do is rather than using our little scroll on the right, we can just simply hit the down arrow on our keyboard. So I'll scroll down, it's alphabetical. So come down, I'll find that Fusion file. And there it is. And I'm simply going to hit Enter. Now when I hit Enter, it's going to go ahead and launch this, and it's going to begin the installation process. If I already have this installed, it'll tell me so. I'll select Enter. It tells me that it's already installed. Do I want to reinstall it? If you haven't had this installed already, which is why we're doing this, this won't come up. So you simply just select OK here at the destination folder. So you just hit OK, and then it's going to go ahead and start that installation process. Now this takes about a minute or so, and once this is completed, I can scroll over so you can kind of see the whole window here, but once this has completed, it's going to go ahead and do a boot. Now the boot is going to be a warm boot, not a cold boot. So any profiles or wireless settings or anything that we've established in our Wavelink host setup, anything like that, none of that will get lost if it's been saved and registry files have been created in the application folder. In my case, since we're doing a warm boot here, we're not going to lose those anyway. So you can feel confident that you're not going to lose any of your settings, even if you haven't exported it out. So we're going to go ahead and let this go ahead and install, and I'll come back right when it's finished. And again, as long as you don't have any errors, it will cold boot by itself. It'll warm boot by itself. If you have any kind of errors, whether it's the wrong file for this device or whichever, it'll show. It'll stop the installation process, and it'll show you that. But we're getting ready to approach the boot process here. And there we go. So as this reboots, like I said, it's a warm boot. So as this reboots, I'm going to lose my connection to my mobile device center because I've disconnected to my host connection. I'm also going to lose the remote display control as well. So as this boots back up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the wireless settings and how what you should expect to see to know for sure and confirm that you've successfully installed this driver. Now, most of our customers, after installing this, there is no need to go back in and edit the profile. Usually, it will automatically detect the profile settings and adjust accordingly. However, I would suggest that you go through and just make sure that all of your settings had persisted. And there's a couple of differences that we'll take a look at. So my device is now booted. It's loading into to a kiosk mode, so I'm going to go ahead and exit that. And then now that I've done that, I can go ahead and launch my remote display program again, which will allow me to show my handheld screen. And there we go. And we've automatically connected back to Windows Mobile Device Center here, so that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and focus our attention on the device now. So if we go ahead and we scroll back over to our, I'm going to go ahead and shut down some of these other programs so I can expose the profile here. Yep. Or attempt to. There we go. So I'm going to launch my wireless fusion driver again, and I'm going to go back into my managed profiles. And we should see our profiles. I'm going to go ahead and just edit this forestry one by selecting it, tapping a second time in the long press, go to edit. And what we really want to focus on, all of these things should be the same as they were prior. But we're going to go to next, and we're going to go to next, and we're going to get into the security mode. Now, what you're looking for here is at the top, by default, you will see this legacy pre-WPA. If you see that in the drop-down list, then you know that you are that you've selected or that you've installed the proper driver, and you know that because now that the WEP encryption is now considered legacy, that now shows us that we do have our WPA2 and WPA personal as an option. So we can go ahead and select our WPA2, and then everything else should be the same. WPA2 personal. Now on this encryption setting, you can leave it as the one that is selected, which could either be AES or TKIP, but I would recommend enabling that allow WPA2 mix mode. That allows me to use either TKIP or the AES encryption type, so I would suggest to go ahead and enable that. Then we go ahead and just go all the way through our profile, making sure that everything is the same, and then we finish. Then we go ahead and close this out. Now we're going to return to our Fusion wireless driver utility, and this time I want you to go into options. And what we want to do is we want to take a look at our regulatory, and we want to make sure that this 802.11d, make sure that's unchecked and disabled. Then we want to go down and we want to look at our band selection and make sure that we have our band selection proper, whether it's 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. That's a customer selection, so choose the one that you guys use, and then hit save. Now we can go ahead and scroll down or tap on the drop down and go down to export. And then we want to export both our options and our profiles, and just use the default directory. If it asks you to overwrite, hit yes. And then what that'll do is, going back to our Windows Mobile Device Center program here, I'm going to go back and browse the directory. What that'll do is when I export it, it will create in the application folder brand new versions of the WCS options.reg and the WCS profiles.reg. So that's it. Once that's done, most of the issues that you see with intermittent drops and poor signal strength and loss of connectivity, those should mostly be taken care of. So that's it, and we'll move on to the next video after this.